What is up, YouTube? What is up? This is part 2. This is Operation Amber Alert. Please, 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 I beg you, if you haven't seen part 1, stop right there. Go look for part 1. Go look for part 1. I'm telling you, you will thank me later. Go look for part 1 and watch part 1 first. Or you can watch this and then you can go back. But if you watch in order, he breaks everything down and explains to you how this whole thing is working, why it's working, and how the government is helping this to work. So we're going to pick up right where we left off at, talking about in order to claim a child, the child has already came over the border. In order to claim that, the representative that's representing this kid, they can get as little as just documentation that's been notarized saying that this kid belongs to me. Most of the time, it's not even, I'm the kid's parent. No DNA, no fingerprints, nothing that, a notarized. And he said $50 to get something notarized. That is about right. Probably since inflation and everything, $75 or something. But I'm going to shut up. Y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, share these videos, and check this out. Here we go.
From other countries exactly.
My best friend she's certified. Anytime I need anything notarized, yes, I got it, $50. Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
So you're handing a child over to somebody that's just giving you some type of notarized piece of paper from some notary. And these notaries didn't even have to be a United States notary, or they did?
No.
This is insanity. I mean, there's so many crimes being committed by our own government. It's not laughable because it's children, but like you're telling me these stories and I'm just like, I laughed a minute ago, like it's so unbelievable that this is happening. You can't even describe it to anybody. Myra, Catherine, and Deborah were handed fake IDs by the so-called sponsors. When they raised alarms, the response? Dismissal, as if the concerns were trivial.
You were checking, you were doing your job. And if you were taking a long time releasing that child, you would get in trouble. They would yell at you. What's taking you so long? You're not doing your job. They would use fear tactics, shaming tactics. If you would start questioning, hey, this doesn't look right, this is clearly abuse or whatnot, they would fire you on the spot for talking back or just trying to protect the child.
We have 3 federal whistleblowers, Deborah White among them, who have laid bare this scheme before Congress. They documented evidence, like the HHS field program specialist, Adriana Lynch, who knew that these IDs were fraudulent, yet did nothing. Deborah confirmed it herself with the embassy, only to be punished by Lynch for overstepping.
So like when I called the consulate to verify some documents, I got reprimanded. Adriana Lynch comes over to me and she says, "You're never to call the consulate again. I heard that you called the consulate. That is my job. You are never to call them again." So I got in trouble. She was the person who was verifying, like if we thought we had a fake document, like we were to send it to her, and then she would send it to the consulate and come back and tell us that like it wasn't fake or it was fake.
The United States government, with all of its technological powers, could very easily verify these documents in a heartbeat if they wanted to, but it doesn't.
I mean, between facial recognition software, voice recognition software, and all the different ways to track people, how can we in this day and age not be able to find them? How can hundreds of thousands of children have disappeared? The United States is the #1 destination in the world.
That's what these are just the things that I keep saying. And y'all are worrying about, abortion. See, I'm trying my best. Everybody, all you got to do is try. I'm trying my best. I am not the type of person that's supposed to be on the microphone. I am not the type of person that's supposed to be doing this. And I'm trying my best because you can send a man to the moon. You can make self-checkout lines. You can get a car to drive on its own. And you can not get a better system in this world to check documentations, but yet it takes woosah, Lord, woosah. I'm trying to tell y'all to wake up. I'm trying to tell y'all this is ridiculous. Listen to this.
Day and age not be able to find them. How can hundreds of thousands of children have disappeared? The United States is the #1 destination in the world for sex trafficking, that every sex trafficking ring worldwide knows bring the kids to the United States, that this administration is participating in the trafficking of kids because they're paying companies, LLCs, and nonprofits, church groups, they're paying them to take these kids and disappear them.
We have on a manifest here that this child is going to a place that we've already identified as trafficking. You know, I need to make sure that you understand. And they're like, Tara, you do understand that we only get sued if we keep kids in care too long. And then she leaned in and she said, we don't get sued by traffickers. Are we clear?
To every attorney watching, reach out. There are crimes being exposed here that demand legal repercussions. When a federal employee says, I'm just doing my job, it's a confession of cowardice, complicity in a system designed to exploit children. And for the spouses of those Border Patrol agents who facilitate child trafficking, how do you sleep knowing your partner is a cog in a child trafficking machine run by cartels with the tactical approval of our own government?
Every single agent knows deep in his heart what's going on is wrong. Children get trafficked every day. We don't take their biographical info. We're very busy up there. We're overran with children we can't keep track of. Where are those children going? We don't know. We can have plausible deniability. If you can sleep at night with plausible deniability, sickens me to my core.
I can't understand that.
At HHS, we follow the law. Employers and companies should do the same. HHS is proud to do our part in the critical work to care for unaccompanied children. We have a dedicated team of professionals at ORR who oversee their care and placement with vetted sponsors. I hold our team and the entire department to the highest standard to ensure we are delivering on our mission to provide care that is in the child's best interest.
I don't trust hardly none of them,
Fact
man.
number 1, HHS axed the rapid DNA testing that took just 45 minutes to confirm family relations.
They said it takes up too much time.
No.
You know how long it takes? 45 minutes.
Hmm.
And you can confirm if this child is related to this adult or not. 45 minutes.
A measure that effectively prevented child trafficking. Under Trump, these tests revealed that 40% of the adults crossing with kids were not related.
Let's put this in perspective. When I was ICE director under President Trump, we did Operation Matador, a gang enforcement operation in Long Island. We arrested just short of 500 gang members, most of them MS-13. 42% of them entered the country as a family unit. So the family units there's some valid family units that come across that border. I get it. But a lot of the family units aren't even family units. Under the Trump administration, we did DNA testing. What the first thing Biden administration did? Killed DNA. We don't know how many families are actually families. So
Fact number 2, HHS engineered a database trifecta designed to stymie proper vetting of sponsors. Deborah, through sheer determination, cross-referencing these databases, uncovered the delivery of 329 children to one complex. Her reward? A dismissive pat on the back, followed by revoked database access for all, ensuring that the system obfuscation continued. This is why kids were handed over to men living at strip clubs.
HHS ORR and Cherokee Federal, the prime contractor, created a quote-unquote strike team to remove children faster, ignoring warnings that came from case managers that children were being trafficked. As a certified project manager and contracting official, I could have ensured that the contract terms and conditions were upheld, but my offers for help were repeatedly rejected.
10 units are one. Case managers at HHS were using...
I'm sorry, y'all. I hit the wrong button. I wanted to say something. Check this out right here. It says, Miss Deborah White, whistleblower. And the other lady, I want y'all to understand this. Whistleblowers. I like whistleblowers. I like I'm not representing no government. I ain't representing no board or anything. We are whistleblowers. Yeah.
to remove children faster, ignoring warnings that came from case managers that children were being trafficked. As a certified project manager and contracting official, I could have ensured that the contract terms and conditions were upheld, but my offers for help were repeatedly rejected.
Fact 3, case managers at HHS were using Google like fortune tellers, vetting undocumented sponsors with zero training, speed over accuracy, question too much or work too slowly, and you'll find yourself escorted out by security during shift change. A spectacle of intimidation to keep the workforce in line and silent.
It's not like they did it very privately. They would come with security and they would tell you, get your things, you're leaving, you're fired. Don't make a scene because it's not going to look good on you. Out of the blue, you're working and you're doing your job, and then you see security coming with this other person, and they pretty much escort you out of the facility, and that's very humiliating.
Fact number 4, when supervisors were alerted to men with fake IDs applying to sponsor, they didn't fix the system, they weaponized it. Caseworkers who tried to verify IDs were punished or shown the door in humiliating fashion.
There are good people that are working on these sites and working at HHS, but they're terrified to come forward. They have seen examples made of people that come forward.
So this is a department that is rotten from
Yes,
the top.
to the core.
And again, the
Yes.
question is, how far down does it go before you just get to the people who just want to keep their heads down and are terrified of, the snakehead at the top?
Fact 5, those 323,000 missing children, HHS didn't lose them. They're delivered to the address designated by cartels, a system so efficient it turns children into parcels, dispatched to whatever nefarious fate awaits them.
Now they find them in forced labor. I guarantee there's some in child pornography movies now.
These children are a captive victim population with no access to law enforcement or knowledge of their rights. They are extorted, abused, neglected.
This isn't just gross negligence. It's deliberate, government-sanctioned child trafficking mechanisms designed to exploit the most vulnerable under the guise of care.
When you make the promises this administration's made that you can cross the border, you won't be detained, we'll give you a work authorization, and guess what? ICE can't arrest you because you sit here illegally. When you make those type of promises, the most vulnerable people in the world are going to put themselves in the hands of these cartels to be smuggled across the border. This administration's policies are dumb. They're killing record number of Americans. They've killed a record number of migrants, and God help us. Thousands of these children are in very bad situations right now, and someday it's going to come out. We need to hold these people responsible.
Amen. We are talking about a level of evil that most of us can't wrap our head around. To build out a military style.
Man, I like him. I like him. I like the way he talked, because when I listen to him talk and people, when you look at the person say, I'm here to do a job. I don't care about this. You are wrong, and I would do by any means necessary to fix this problem. That is my job. I don't care how you like the way I do my job. I don't care about that. That's what he said. That's what he was saying to the lady. And when I first met him, I was like, nah, that ain't, you saying you're going to do it this way. And he almost like, who gives a F the way I do it? I'm going to get it done. That's how he was saying it, man. Deep. I like that dude. I like him. This guy right here. Love him.
It's going to come out. We need to hold these people responsible.
Amen.
Listen how he talk, y'all. Listen how he talk right here. Let me go right here.
This isn't just gross negligence. It's
Watch
deliberate.
this.
Government-sanctioned child trafficking mechanisms.
See, we need some angels like Peter. Was it Peter in the Bible that fought for Jesus? We need some angels that fight on this line, and I'm ready to fight.
Designed
My
to
man ready
exploit
to
the most
fight.
vulnerable
Watch
under
this.
the guise of care.
When you make the promises this administration's made that you can cross the border, you won't be detained, we'll give you a work authorization, and guess what? ICE can't arrest you because you sit here illegally. When you make those type of promises, the most vulnerable people in the world are going to put themselves in the hands of these cartels to be smuggled across the border. This administration's policies are dumb. They're killing record number of Americans. They've killed a record number of migrants, and God help us. Thousands of these children are in very bad situations right now, and someday it's going to come out. We need to hold these people responsible.
Amen. We are talking about a level of evil that most of us can't wrap our head around. To build out a military-style child trafficking operation at this scale, it would require compromised government officials at every level. Timelines matter. I want you to pay attention to which three-letter government agencies created this military-style child trafficking network. And I want to walk you through the 289 executive orders that Joe Biden had signed in his first year. On January 20th of 2021, President Biden issued 93 executive orders, obliterating every immigration policy ever created by the Trump administration. On January 20th of 2021, President Biden issued executive order, further entrenching the unlawful deferred action of childhood arrival program, also known as DACA. With his actions, President Biden directed the Secretary of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, in collusion with the Attorney General Merrick Garland, to preserve and fortify DACA, signaling to illegal alien children that his administration supports amnesty and that illegal aliens need not fear coming to the U.S. or worry about immigration enforcement. February 6th of 2021, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken suspended and began to terminate procedures for the Trump administration's asylum cooperative agreement with El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras. These agreements ensured that aliens seeking asylum could do so in countries closer to their home country and in other countries other than the United States. Now pay attention to this date, America. On March 30th of 2021, a couple months into this administration, every member of Congress could see the writing on the walls. So on March 30th of 2021, the Office of Refugee Resettlement, ORR, took drastic action to expand detention space to house unaccompanied alien children in so-called influx care facilities, often used in unlicensed facilities that lack child welfare or experience. In March, April, and May of 2021, ORR expanded capacity to house another 23,849, including 10,000 at Fort Bliss. DHS was also holding children for a longer period than allowed by law, which is 30 to 40 days. And because the flow of these UACs across the border outpaced Health and Human Services' ability to vet adults who care for the children. When I say that this is by design, this is what I mean. So now here we are on March 31st of 2021. We have laws in place and policies in place to protect the children. There were so many children coming in that the policies that we had to protect them were getting in the way.
Because of the volume of children that were coming across in the last 4 years, and a part of that, HHS and DHS joint statement of termination of this agreement, and this is from March of 2021, my brothers and sisters. This was a policy decision to step away from the strict means by which these children were monitored and controlled. And what it was replaced with was this sponsor care agreement. There's nothing to this. It's 3.5 pages, 2 pages of nothing that the criminal networks can easily take advantage of.
So on March 31st of 2021, the Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, Office of Refugee Resettlement, ORR, issued guidance rolling back requirements for background checks on adults in the households of UACs. So what that means is, prior to March 31st of 2021, every person that lived in a household had to have a background check. Because they couldn't complete all of those background checks in time to make sure that the child was safe, they intentionally removed them. This is criminal America. Do you think our military played a role, America? On April 30th of 2021, the Biden administration canceled further wall construction, which is being led by the Department of Defense. June 16th, 2021, Attorney General Merrick Garland rescinds the Trump-era decisions in matter of AB1 and AB2. Thereby expanding asylum eligibility to include gender and domestic relationships as central social groups, reverting to policy under matter ARCG. October 29th, 2021, DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas terminated the Migrant Protection Protocols, known as the MPP, or Remain in Mexico. November 29th, 2021, the Biden administration formally created a program that included alternatives to detention, plus parole, resulting in the catch and release for hundreds of thousands of aliens into the U.S. interior after they were encountered at the border. 338,000 aliens were released in fiscal year 2022 alone under this program. Now, this next part, I want to be crystal clear. This is a Democrat agenda. It's being bankrolled by Republicans. I want to show you the timeline on how the Democrats put this agenda in place, and then it was Republicans who took control of the House on January 20th of 2023. Since then, they have had the power of the purse. Since then, they have had all of the evidence they needed to use their oversight powers to shut this down. Do you remember when Republicans told us
the power of the purse, and we will use it? Use the power of the purse to stop funding it. Because you know what? If you fund it, you own it.
That's why we have to look at the power of the purse. We have to look at the appropriations process.
One is oversight, and that's a job that we have, and also, of course, the use of the power of the purse.
We will use the power of the purse, power of the subpoena to get the job.
That body, which stands for election every 2 years, to be the body closer to the people, deciding how we spend the money. So we have to exercise our authority, the power of the purse, to limit what the federal government, what the FBI and the Justice Department are doing to the American people.
And that we use the power of the purse that was given to us to do our job.
That the Congress has a responsibility. We have the power of the purse.
This is not using the power of the purse. This is abdicating the power of the purse.
Where everyone is on Mike Johnson is it's all about his actions, because he's really good at talking. He's great at talking. He's not good at acting.
That's the power of the purse, and we will use it, and we will use it.
We should recognize the power of the purse. They, in a word, hold the purse. This power over the purse may in fact be regarded as, and this is the most important part, we control the power of the purse.
But the fact that the Congress, controlled by Republicans, that controls the purse, what are you guys going to do to contain the FBI?
That's why we sent the letter. That's why we sent the letter.
I can tell you right now, people are going to stop supporting Republicans if Republicans don't get their act together and actually do something about this. Republicans continually have their head up their ass and can't figure out how to actually use the power that the people gave us. People are sick and tired of a feckless, useless Republican Party that never does a damn thing to stop any of this.
So we got to keep talking about it. We got to pass legislation if we can to deal with it. And then we have to look at the money, the appropriations, to say, how can we direct these funds? How can we better position these funds? What can we do to stop this from happening in the future?
On February 25th, 2023, so about 45 days after Republicans took control of the House, the New York Times published a report that said, alone and exploited, migrant children work brutal jobs across the U.S., arriving in record numbers. They are ending up in dangerous jobs that violate child labor laws, including factories that make products for well-known brands like Cheetos and 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦. This report expands in great detail that HHS, under the guidance of 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦, had lost over 85,000 migrant children. Fast forward about a month. On April 26th of 2023, the House Judiciary Committee hosted an oversight investigation titled House Committee Holds Hearing on Unaccompanied Migrant Children. On July 27th of 2023, the House Oversight Committee on Energy and Commerce hosted an oversight hearing titled Stopping the Exploitation of Migrant Children. And this was the oversight of HHS Office of Refugee Resettlement. On October 25th of 2023, Senator Grassley and Senator Cassidy hosted a roundtable investigation titled The Exploitation Crisis: How the U.S. government fails to protect migrant children from trafficking and abuse. What members of Congress were on the House Judiciary Committee, you may ask? Well, 23 Republicans and 17 Democrats, with ranking member Gerald the Garden Gnome Trowbridge Nadler. The House Committee on Energy and Commerce has 29 Republicans, 23 Democrats. Senator Grassley's roundtable had about 5. That means that there are over 100 different politicians in Washington, D.C. that were actually at hearings or on committees that directly investigated this child trafficking nightmare. Yet not one of them has done anything to stop it. I want to be crystal clear. The Republicans control the power of the purse. They have had all the evidence they need to shut this operation down. Not only did they not shut it down, they increased funding to accelerate this operation.
Republicans released a jaw-dropping report revealing nearly $500 billion of your tax dollars have gone to the border crisis under Biden.
Our first condition on any national security supplemental spending package is about our own national security first. The border is an absolute catastrophe.
Then they do the opposite. Is there some sort of secret oath that Republicans take after the cameras go away to actually not do any of the things that they just promised to do? I mean, seriously.
Mike Johnson, he's the uniparty speaker now. He's about the committee's third betrayal today of the American public. The first betrayal was an omnibus bill.
And this omnibus bill that just passed
they're getting the biggest payday of their lives. We're talking billions and billions of dollars through HHS, and DHS will then be handed over for this whole processing operation. It's a staggering amount of money to move a staggering amount of people. And basically what happens is Border Patrol turns over illegal aliens to these NGOs, and the NGOs provide them with onward transits wherever they need to go.
What you expose with these NGOs, which is all paid for by tax dollars, by your tax dollars.
It's the U.S. government and NGOs and charities such as Catholic charities that are basically financing and facilitating this. We exposed it. We're calling on Congress to defund it, to make this activity illegal for NGOs to participate in it.
When we dive into the murky waters of NGOs linked to this government-backed child trafficking operation, the numbers are staggering. The Office of Refugee Resettlement, ORR, boasts about managing 289 facilities across 29 states. But dig a little deeper, and you'll find that over 14,000 NGOs in America are supposedly aiding migrant children. Today's focus, 3 key players: Southwest Key Programs, MBM Inc., and Endeavor. Let's tackle Southwest Key Programs first. Back on June 18th of 2018, a user on X that goes by the name of @LastRefugee2 laid it all out. Southwest Key Programs wasn't just shady. It was the epicenter of immigration exploitation. They uncovered that this outfit in 2014 was allegedly paying South American smugglers with our tax dollar. A staggering 98% of their revenue comes from government grants. Fast forward to 2024, and Southwest Key Programs have morphed into what can only be described as the most profitable child prison camp empire in America, boasting about 56 locations across 18 states. From 2020 to 2024, they've pocketed a cool $2,890,997,217 from us, the taxpayers. Now consider, in light of what's been laid bare in this timeline, and my first documentary, What is Treason? #Traffic, we can assume that every single member of Congress, every senator, and every politician with a shred of awareness knows that our taxes are funding the world's most extensive child trafficking network. Not once has either party used their power to protect these children.
You've often spoken about your partnership with these NGOs. Who's paying for this? Are you aware of who's funding these NGOs?
We are grateful for the appropriations of Congress.
So the United States taxpayer is funding them, is what you're saying.
Alejandro Mayorkas is secure in his job, far more secure than America's border. And Republicans will just keep giving the Department of Homeland Security and the rest of the Biden regime our money.
What they are using that money for is to entice people to enter the country illegally, but at the same time, they're aiding and abetting people who are circumventing the vetting process so that we know who are the criminals, who are the ones that are trafficking children.
This administration refuses to do anything about it, and the Democrats refuse to do anything about it in Congress. And I am sad to say that probably half of our Republican conference, they're willing to just keep funding this government instead of saying no more money for this government until you secure the border. Quite frankly, many of my colleagues in my own party here in Congress refuse to acknowledge it.
America, what if I told you that in addition to appropriations, Congress has oversight roles over federal agencies? Congress carries out this function by holding hearings, and they conduct oversight of agency enforcement operations, functions, and policies. Congress may pass a law that directs an agency to take action on a certain subject and set a schedule for the agency to follow it in issuing rules. More often, an agency surveys its area of legal responsibility and then decides which issues or goals have priorities for rulemaking. Congress can overturn executive orders by passing legislation that immediately defunds them. Hey, America, did you know that Congress has the ability to overturn executive orders by passing legislation that invalidates them? Congress can also refuse to fund executive orders or policy measures they contain. That means that on January 20th of 2023, when Speaker McCarthy became Speaker of the House, Republicans had the ability to overturn every single executive order that Joe Biden put. But they did it.
These are the same traitors, the same treasonous Republicans who just voted to send $100 billion to Ukraine and Israel and Taiwan and then keep our border spigot flowing. They're in on it.
So you also discovered certain NGO groups, such as Catholic charities.
Yeah.
They are helping out these illegal immigrants. They're actually funded by the Republican Party.
Yes, these are groups that are to the left of most mainstream religions. They're liberal Christian charity groups. And they have formed various NGOs. The Lutherans have one, Catholic Charities another one, and they don't believe in borders. And yet we funded them. The Republican budget last time around actually gave these NGOs the money to keep doing what they've been doing for a couple of years. So yes, we have evidence that NGOs are deeply involved
The evidence is out there, circulating on platforms like X, in independent reports, and through the brave whistleblowers who risked everything to expose this. The question isn't whether this is happening. The question is, why is it allowed to continue?
The people that are entering the United States and remaining in the United States to continue a process of legalization, they are releasing them to us so that we can make sure that they are put in a bus by their families. We contact their families and they can move on and be safe. We got, I guess you could say, got lucky to get reimbursed to some of the efforts that we've been doing for so long. And that is taxpayers' money.
They are basically helping the cartels make their money, and they're making a little money on the side. I know that people would like to say these are religious organizations. They may be loosely affiliated with their respective churches, but they are not the churches. And basically what's happening now is the federal government is using these organizations to launder immigration.
Every dollar we've unknowingly given to these entities has funded not just a policy failure, but an orchestrated scheme of child exploitation.
Start off with a massive investigation into Southwest Key, the allegations of sex crimes against undocumented migrant children and intimidating them not to report it.
The federal lawsuit alleges a pattern of abuse for nearly a decade, claiming multiple Southwest Key employees harassed and abused these unaccompanied minors as young as 5 years old, up to teens shy of 18 years old.
As seen in the DOJ lawsuit against Southwest Key for sexual abuse of children in those shelters. Meanwhile, taxpayer dollars fund no-bid contracts for these NGOs, whose CEOs have tripled their salaries, hire staff teaching migrant girls to dance provocatively, and continue receiving payments for undelivered services.
This is a tragedy, and it is treason, because this is not bad policy or bad mistakes or somebody's incompetent. This is intentional. So when you do intentional acts against your nation, that is treason.
So, Mr. Carroll, my colleagues on the minority are very concerned, though, about your language. What do you think of that?
I find it fascinating and interesting that after hearing about all this testimony, and right now, thousands of children are being raped, children are being murdered. I'm going to quote President Trump when he said, a lot of these children are already dead, end quote. All this tragedy that we're dealing with. We want to talk about what I said about Speaker Johnson in a podcast that I don't even remember. And I'll be glad to talk about Speaker Johnson and him funding NGOs to the hilt. I would love to talk about that as well.
Yes.
So let's play a game. Deep state Republican versus deep swamp Democrat. You tell me who gave more money to the NGO, and then tell me how much more on a percentage basis. We have 3 NGOs, Southwest Key Programs, MVM Inc., and Endeavors. Who do you think gave more money to Southwest Key Programs? Was it A, the world's greatest stock trader, Nancy Pelosi, or was it B, the man who watches porn with his son, Speaker Mike Johnson? Well, if you guessed Speaker Mike Johnson, you nailed it. From 2020 to 2022, under a Democrat-controlled House, Southwest Key Programs received $1,147,957,960 in federal grants. From 2022 to 2024, when Republicans controlled the power of the purse, Southwest Key Programs received $1,743,039,257 in federal grants. When Republicans controlled the power of the purse, funding for Southwest Key Programs increased by $595,081,297. That's an increase of 35%. If you are enjoying this game, do me a favor, smash that like button and share this video. Now let's talk about MVME. You know the CIA contractor who used to run Black Ops missions for the DoD during the Iraq War? Well, before the war drums even stopped beating, MVM Inc. was awarded the first contract to traffic migrant children for the Biden administration. Who do you think gave MVM Inc. more money? NASDAQ Nancy Pelosi or Mike OnlyFans Johnson? Well, if you guessed Speaker Johnson, you nailed it. From 2020 to 2022, MVM Inc. received $227 million in federal grants. From 2022 to 2024, MVM Inc. received $788 million in federal grants. When Republicans controlled the power of the purse, funding for MVM Inc. increased by $561 million. That is an increase of 71.3%. Last but not least, we have Endeavors. If you'd like to learn more about Endeavors, follow Hernando Arce on X. He calls their facilities the American replacement. Who do you think gave more money to Endeavors? Was it Hide the Hammer Pelosi or strongly worded letter Speaker Johnson? Well, if you guessed Hide the Hammer Pelosi, You were wrong. From 2020 to 2022, Endeavors received $11,092,415 grants. From 2022 to 2024, Endeavors received $115,888,931 grants. When Republicans controlled the power of the purse, funding for Endeavors increased by $104,796,516. This is an increase of 91.5%. When Republicans officially took control of the House, there were roughly 85,000 unaccompanied alien children missing in America. All of the evidence was there and it was overwhelming. Today, 323,000 unaccompanied alien children are missing. That means roughly 240,000 additional children have been lost by HHS because the Republicans failed to do their job. Are you okay with this, America? How many cowards in the conservative journalist space have interviewed these scumbag Republicans and continue to bring them on their podcast, the do-nothing, strongly worded letter Republicans, and not once do they ask them about these children? It's time we wake up and we demand accountability, because in this story, the villains are those who we've entrusted with our governance, our tax dollars, and most tragically, the safety of the world's most vulnerable.
This rope is used to tie up children and women to these trees, tying their hands together so they can't struggle and fight and claw back.
And they take turns.
This is gang raping, guys. This isn't, oh, yes, you're typical. This is violent gang rape.
The condoms and the lube were right next to the kid's shirt and the socks. The kid's socks. Sick. All this stuff just left.
The probability that thousands of these UACs are being raped at this very moment is 100%.
Human trafficking is one of the greatest humanitarian crises of our lifetime. The very system meant to protect vulnerable children has become a trafficking pipeline.
We got to try to stop this.
Children,
some kind of way. We got to try to stop this,
are being
man.
sold for sex. Cases of migrant children as young as 8 with sexually transmitted diseases. 8 years old.
This is the part that in other countries, in poor countries, they give them false hope. What they do is they tell them, go to America, you can go to America, and everybody paint this great big picture. Oh yeah, and they want to come. They want to help their family. They want to come. They want to go to the American dream. People all over the world know that the rich people are in America. I want to go to the United States. I heard so many stories. They believe in the stories. So they come. And then they start, on the way here, that story comes from here and start going down. While they on their journey, it is going down to, this ain't nowhere near what I thought it was going to be. Well, this, maybe the journey is like this, but once I get there, maybe. And it's still not like that for them. Think about that. Forced into labor to repay impossible debts. Sold into sex, all this stuff.
Dear America, I have a message from God. Matthew 18:6. If anyone causes one of these little ones, those who believe in me, to sin, it would be better for them to have a large millstone on their neck to be drowned. What if I told you? Hear me now, for I come bringing not just a message. The storm is brewing, one that will not be tears of, but fueled by the result. To the predator, the soulless, heed this, your time, the light of justice through, and men of valor fire of stepping forward. You have hidden, you have schemed, believing yourself. But know this, every whisper of your vile act, every hidden corner where you thought your depravity will be flushed. I stand before you, not as a man, but as a herald of a new age, clad in the armor of God, which is not merely a metaphor, but a reality of unyielding resolve. I, and those like me, fear no man, no threat. We will never bend a knee to tyranny, to a vice, or to corruption of the soul. This is more than just a call to arms. It's a divine a mission to expose, to dismantle, to eradicate the darkness that festers in the hearts of those who would harm. There is no corner of this earth, sanctuary of the night, find refuge. We are come with the passion of sin. We will hunt just for vengeance. For the future, children laugh without fear, and women walk. Predators, pedophiles, for days. Those who have taken. We are on a mission. We will not. You've preyed on. Now it's you. There will be no. We are God's army. God's justice.
Amen, amen, amen.
If you notice, but her braces are donated by friends of mine too.
Really?
We're making, no one leaves here without a beautiful smile.
Ah,
yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you not just to share a story, but to ignite a spark of compassion, a flame of action in each of our hearts. I want to talk about men like Bob McDonnell, an American patriot whose heart beats for humanity beyond borders. Bob McDonnell, a man whose life's mission has led him to the streets of El Salvador, not for personal gains, but to combat one of the darkest trades on earth, human trafficking.
This is what I'm waiting on right here. I'm so ready. We see all the problems. We hear all the problems. I am ready for a solution. I am ready for how can we help, what to do. I'm ready. We need to be ready right now. What can we do to help flip this whole situation over? And this is what I've been waiting on.
In my travels across this vast country, investigating the grim realities of child trafficking, I have witnessed the despair and the hope, the darkness and the light. Amidst the many organizations I've encountered, there is one that stands out, a beacon of true safety and rehabilitation, Mikasa Kids, led by Bob McDonnell. His organization, the House of Life, is not just about rescue, it's about transformation. Bob's mission goes way beyond rescue. He provides a sanctuary for those who have suffered the unimaginable. Women and children who are not only trafficked, but often violated by those who they should have trusted them, their family and relatives. These survivors, all of whom have become pregnant through such heinous acts, find not just temporary shelter at Bob's facility, but a home where they can nurture and raise their children. The transformations I witnessed in these young mothers and these children is nothing short of miraculous. The joy and happiness on the faces of these children, who knew nothing but fear and pain, is a testament to the healing power of the love and security provided by Bob's organization. Knowing where these children came from versus where they are after spending just 1 year under Bob's care. Fucking miracle. What this...
Yes. Take your time.
What this man has done for these children. I've never seen anything like it. If you guys could just skip 1 cup of coffee, this is where you send your money. This guy's truly saving lives. Oh, yeah. Is there anything that she would like to tell me, or anything that she feels is important that other people know?
That here is a very special place, and it's a very good place, and it's a place where young mothers can have a lot of opportunities.
Now imagine for a moment, if you will, the life of these children. Picture their fear, their pain, and their desperate need for salvation. Now consider that. With a donation as modest as the cost of your daily coffee, you could be part of their rescue. For every $30,000 donated, the House of Life can prevent 12,000 individuals from enduring the horrors of rape and abuse. Let that sink. Your small act of kindness can literally save thousands from a lifetime.
Between the ages of 12 and 17 years old in New York City, this little girl was raped. We guess about 60,000 times before she was finally set free. And that's the fate of thousands of children.
I was ignorant. So the fastest growing enterprise in the world is child sex trafficking.
Fastest growing criminal enterprise in the world
That is
the selling
insane.
of people.
In a world often overshadowed by individual pursuit and self-interest, here stands Bob McDonald, a testament to what one person's resolve can. His work isn't about borders or nationality. It's about the universal language of human kindness and justice. He's not just saving lives, he's restoring hope and dignity where there was absolute. I ask you today, with the warmth of your morning coffee in your hand, to consider the power of a simple donation. If you could, skip just one cup of coffee, or perhaps a few. Imagine the difference that money can make when pooled together. It's not just about the money, it's about what that money represents, our collective empathy or commitment to humanity.
Look at this.
Each one of us has the power to change the narrative for somebody else. Every dollar you donate is a step towards breaking the chains of human trafficking. It's an investment in a future where every child can grow up free and where every woman can walk without fear. Let's honor the spirit of men like Bob McDonald by joining his mission. Let's make a concise choice to part with small luxury, knowing fully well that our sacrifice can lead to. Together, let's build a house of life in every corner of the world where darkness lurks, turning it into. Thank you, and may we all find the courage, the heart to care, and the willingness to give. Remember, it's not just about money, it's about making a difference. One cup of coffee together. If you'd like to learn more about Bob's organization, please watch the full interview. It'll be linked down in the description, or it'll be posted in the comments as well. Bob is truly a hero. Words can't describe what I saw. I've been to a lot of these facilities that claim that they actually care for children. And you see how the children are treated in these facilities here in America. The look on these girls' faces when I walked in and I was with Bob, and seeing them laugh and smile and joke, and
yes,
the love they have for Bob.
Hooray, Bob. Hooray to
He's
Bob.
became the father figure that every one of these women. Bob's became the father figure that every one of these children wish they had. Bob is the father that every one of us wish we had. I've never found one in this entire time of doing this, one organization that I could tell you, America, that yes, if you donate here, your money will directly go to saving children. And I'll do one further. I'm going to be down in El Salvador quite often. So I'll show you where your money's going. Please consider watching the videos down below in the description. This man's really saving lives.
We will definitely
QR
donate.
code you are looking at here on the screen is Bob's PayPal. Bob also has Venmo, and he also has donation links directly on his website. We have got him set up, so no matter how you'd like to donate, he can accept your donation. PayPal, Bitcoin, Venmo, and I believe a gift set. All of which will be right down below in the description. $5. This isn't America. Bob doesn't need hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. He needs $30,000 to bring in another 6 girls off the street. He already has the girls waiting. He just needs to secure the funding. I promised him that we would do it. So help Bob, help me raise this $30,000. And I'll give you a front row seat so you can hear directly from the kids. Do you imagine getting raped by your father, your uncle, your brother? Do you imagine getting raped by your cousin and then going to your grandma at 6 just to have your grandma beat you bloody and tell you that it was your fault because you wore shorts? That is the trauma that these girls have been through. That's one of their stories. And the joy that I seen on these girls. I'll show you. God bless you.
We will make
Are
sure
you ready
we
to stand
donate.
for justice and all the values that define our nation? On our website, thisistreason.com, we have a
I'm going to make sure we donate to Bob and whatchamacallit. I'm going to say whatchamacallit. Y'all know I'm terrible with names, but
petition
we
for the
got to
implementation of the
donate
death
to both.
penalty for child rape in all 50 states. We are on a mission to gather 10 million signatures from American patriots just like you and deliver them to President Donald J. Trump. Let's send a message to the pedophiles in Washington, D.C. Demand that the federal government ensures the death penalty is implemented across all 50 states for any adult over the age of 21 who rapes a minor child who's under the age of 17. Make your voices heard. Your signature on this petition will be a direct message to President Donald Trump, advocating for decisive action. The time to act is now, America. Your signature could be the one that tips the scale. Join us, make a difference, and let's show our commitment to upholding the law. Sign the petition today at thisistreason.com.
Ryan Matt. Ryan
If everybody
Matt.
were to watch your documentary, What is Treason? #trafficked. If everybody watched that, all 300 plus million Americans, Trump would win like this. I don't know why it's not the #1 issue. Every time I come back from an operation, I'm just like incensed when I read the news, what made the headlines. The headlines every day should be, millions of kids are enslaved and the United States is driving the market with their policies. So I would encourage more to come out, more to whistleblow. I would encourage them to be as loud as they can. I know there's the Hatch Act and there's certain things they can't do, as public officials, but we need a change in administration. We need somebody like Donald Trump who understands what's going on and will put an end to this.
Will the Trump administration commit to finding these children?
I haven't been asked that question, but the answer is yes. It's a simple answer.
A lot of people have wondered, how is this going to work?
You know, Tom Homan, you said we did the greatest job in the history
That is the man.
Every president I worked for said they're going to secure the border. President Trump actually did it.
Wow.
Tom Homan's coming back. Yeah, Tom Homan's coming back. I would say that would be announced next week, except I'd rather announce it now.
We got over 300,000.
We're going to be all over this.
Over 500,000 children been trafficked into the United States. This administration released them to unvetted sponsors, and they can't find 300,000. When President Trump's president again, we will go rescue these children and save them.
I asked Donald Trump in my interview with him, would you locate these children? Will you promise to find the children that the Biden administration has lost? And he told me straight up, that's easy.
We need to save these children.
And the people who stand against this guy that Trump is about to put in office, they asked a question and I'm like, they asked him this: how you plan on putting these people out of the country without separating the families? It's like, you're going to separate families because I guess some of them have babies now and they are Americans. If you're born in America, you are American, period. Even if you illegally came over here, it's all this stuff. How you plan on putting people out without separating the family? He said, easy. We just put the whole family out the country. They got to go. And it was like, you're going to be disrupting families and all this type of stuff they were saying. You're going to be splitting up families. Shame on you. And it's like, man, I ain't tripping off of that. And the way that's how he be answering stuff, man. Like him, love him to death. The whole family got to go, baby. In no situation, no system is perfect. No system is perfect. But we got to do something. Look at this.
Everybody on Last Locals has been asking, what do I get if I become a paid member to your Locals, Ryan Mehta? Well, what you're going to get is you're going to get a front row seat at all of the behind the scenes footage as I'm traveling across the country, filming documentary after documentary after documentary, with a main focus on human and child trafficking. So where are we at right now? We're in San Diego. We're right here along the Mexico, California border. It's Tijuana over there. This is the United States over here. This is San Diego. And this area is called Whiskey 8. So over here behind us, you see these tents over there in the distance, and you see that trailer? That trailer is a giant shrine, and it has 8,300 names on this back wall. And those are the migrants that have died attempting to migrate to America. And those tents over there, those white tents, those are NGO shelters that are stacked with food, groceries, diapers, cooking stations, pots, pans, water, medicine, you name it. COVID-19 testing kits are all in there, all bought and paid for with our tax dollars. So we're down here with Audra Morgan. She goes by Eye of the Storm SD. She's an absolute hero, a legend, and a patriot. This is Tijuana over here. What's really unique about this spot of the border is you got the double border wall. So across there is Tijuana. You can see we have an 18-foot to a 30-foot border wall, depending on where it's at. And then on this side, we have an 18-foot border wall with 3 rows of Constantino razor wire. What's really unique about this is they're starting to use cement poles. So I assume that's because the cartels have been cutting through the border wall. If it's steel, it's just easy. With any saw blade, you can just chop right through it, easily weld it back together.
Wow.
Now these cement pillars are drastically different. So it looks like we either have steel or aluminum on the inside, and then these pillars are wrapped in concrete, which is really unique. So this is the kind of stuff that you guys are going to get over here on Locals. You guys are going to get a behind the scenes look at exactly everything that goes into travel, all of the work that we go, setting up equipment, the behind the scenes look. You guys are going to get that all over here on Locals for $4.99. So I just despise sponsors. I don't want Ryan Mehta anything to ever be brought to you by Pfizer or Moderna or Big Pharma or Big Business or Big Corporation, or let alone big government.
Yes, come
so
on
in order
now.
to keep this operation up and running and to continue to scale it at the rate that I want to scale it, where you guys have a never-ending supply of content coming in order to do that, you have to have a team of people working for you. I have to have several editors. I have 4 editors right now. 4. One documentary is $20,000 just to edit it. One full documentary edited with just one editor. And that's only a 30-day documentary. That's not including if this gentleman has to work for 6 months editing one film.
Yes.
So they can drastically ratchet up. But let's say the very cheapest we could do it, and that's if I edit it a lot, is $10,000. If I have an editor edit all of it, at the very least it's $20,000. So that is just to pay the editor, not to count the flights. So when me and JJ filmed our documentary, we took 13 trips. 13 trips all across America. That's 2 flights, and every flight when you're flying now is at the very least $500, if not upwards of $900 to $1,000, just for one flight. And a lot of these times we'll get a whistleblower or a source that'll contact us last minute and be like, hey, I can do this interview on this date, and it's a week out, and now your ticket's $1,200. So all of those things add up. We got flights. Every time I fly in, you see this rental car, and no, I didn't upgrade to the GM Arcadia model, right? Because I travel so much, they upgraded me for free. So I have to pay for the standard price of a car, and I got like the next level up in their SUVs.
Talk to them.
So every time I travel, I'm always at the absolute bare minimum. Now, when I'm doing interviews and I'm renting an Airbnb, I have to have enough room to set up. So a lot of the 1-bedroom apartments, they just don't cut it. So you pretty much always have to rent, at the very least, a 2-bedroom house or a house that has an open dining room. You can't just go and do one of the, 1-room rentals where you just get a room. Because I have to bring people over, I have to interview, I have to set up my lights, I have to build out a studio inside these facilities. So when you guys are watching these videos,
These are what the people want to hear. This is what the people want to hear.
You fully understand how much work and money and time and resources go into this. Just the travel, what me and JJ spent, I think, was $63,000. And that was just out of what the money that I brought out of my own pocket. It's expensive to be out here. People that produce content on this level, they have teams, they have editors, they have a personal assistant, they have managers. We're doing it out here by ourselves, baby. And we're always going to be brought to you right here just by you guys. God bless you guys. And hopefully you guys enjoy this content. Drop those comments, share it, tell your friends. Our goal is to get 1,000 $5 a month supporters. If we can get 1,000 $5 a month supporters, we can take this to the next level. If we can get 2,000, we can start to build the team. If we can get 3,000, which will be about $15,000 a month. We can blow the roof off of this thing. That means giveaways, that means special meet and greets, that means events, that means so much more to make this feel like it's a team effort, because that's what we are. We're Team America, baby. We're Team Freedom. We're Team God Bless the USA. We're Team Donald Trump 2024. Let's get this man back in the White House. Let's rescue these women and children. God bless you. God bless America. We out. Peace.
Yo, what is up, Rumble? Thank you guys so much for joining us over here on the Ryan Matta Show. That was the release of our new documentary, my newest documentary. It's not What is Treason, is it? No, that's Operation Amber Alert. I'm so used to saying What is Treason. Oh, it showed up. It showed up. Yes, yes, we got it. We back, baby. We back. How do I say that? How do I say that name? I'm always going to mess this one up. You just signed up and I can never say it. 𝗟𝗢𝗡𝗞𝗦. Oh man, I'm gonna mess that up. Oh, there it is. I'll get Siri to help me. 𝗟𝗢𝗡𝗞𝗦. Am I saying that right? 𝗟𝗢𝗡𝗞𝗦. God bless you guys. Thank you guys so much. You should sign up for locals though. I hope that you're getting the Rumbles thing, right? I think that if you sign up on Rumbles, it gives you locals, but I can't be sure on that. Either way, you're supporting, but on locals, you'll actually get all the behind the scenes content. And I'm getting ready to make a Bitcoin digital course for you guys. So let me just show you what I mean really quick. So you guys, everybody thinks I'm effing crazy. I tell you, it's like having your own gosh damn money printer. Once you understand Bitcoin and you understand how to set up these bots, they cannot make a losing trade, right? So this is how I fund all of my own documentaries out of my own pocket, right? So this bot over the last 7 months and 14 days has generated me $13,583. I don't have to work. I programmed this thing 13 months ago. I mean, I have to work, but I don't have to touch the bot. I programmed this thing 7 months ago and 14 days ago, and it's taken my 71,000 and it's turned it into $84,773. So this bot's made me $13,568. So if you have money, guys, wow, you have to escape the matrix and you have to get out of the rat race. You have to be willing to take the capital that you got and put that capital to work for you while you're sleeping, 24/7 generating money. And if you guys are still on the fence about Bitcoin, guys, Trump's going to make it a treasury reserve asset. What else do you need to hear? RFK wants the United States government to start printing dollars, these paper dollars out of thin air, and then taking those dollars and using those dollars, right, to buy Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's here to stay. So since it's here to stay, you might as well get your feet wet. So I just flew down to El Salvador, and I wasn't going down there for the child trafficking stuff. And stay tuned, because I got in a video of Bob I want to play for you guys too. So I went down to El Salvador to film this digital course for you guys and film this Bitcoin documentary to help you guys see that you have to get out of the rat race, right? You have to get yourself out of the rat race, and you don't have to set up bots. So that's why I'm building you a complete digital course, right? I went down to El Salvador and I went to the Bitcoin hardware store. Give me 1 second. Let me grab a whole tray of shit I got.
Let me grab a whole tray of I got. This is incredible, man. This is incredible. I am down with him. I am very down with him, man. You guys better wake up, and you guys got to start learning. We have a YouTube course.
So these right here,
we teach people how to do YouTube course.
Right? So this thing was $220. Every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin blockchain mines a new block, right?
Okay.
And all of the miners, they're giant ones. They have warehouses, factories, like billion-dollar warehouses with machines that are 10 times this size, and they'll have 100,000 of them mining, right? Each one of those machines is just trying to guess a math problem. The bigger the machine, the more math problems it can guess, right? So this one can only guess a couple every 10 minutes, right? But in the last 6 months, 2 BitAxes have mined a block. 2. That block, that one block, the BitAxe, because they're solo mining, they get awarded 3.5 Bitcoin or 3.25 Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin's roughly around 100,000, if you get lucky, and I call it lottery mining, if you're lottery mining Bitcoin, you win $325,000. This thing costs you $5 a month in electricity to run. So if you're interested in mining, I'm going to teach you how to mine, right? After that, when you buy your Bitcoin, you need to get your Bitcoin onto a cold storage device. This is an air-gapped wallet. This device never connects to the internet, and which means that there's no hacker can get in it. The CIA can't get in it, right? If you're keeping your Bitcoin on a wallet that's on your phone, and it needs a lot of resources because they have to hack into that, the microchip, because your private keys, which are your secret password. It's 24 words. All case sensitive, have to be in the exact same order. You want to keep your Bitcoin once you buy it, especially if it's a lot. You know, if it's only a couple grand, you know, it's only a couple grand. But the saying in the Bitcoin community is you should treat every piece of Bitcoin that you own like it's $1 million, because this tiny fraction of Bitcoin, Saylor is saying it's going to be 13 million by 2030. So if you can get one Bitcoin, you're going to have, for right now, for 100,000, in 2030, you're going to have 13 something million. So,
man, I thought he was going to break it all the way down, but that's enough. That was more than enough. Wow. Oh my God. I think that, to be honest, I think it was too much Bitcoin stuff going on right there at the end, because that just shook me and took my whole thinking somewhere else. But guys, on a serious note, we have to do something. It is too much child raping. It is too much RN. Let's scratch that. It's too much child R's. It's too much S. It's too much trafficking. It is too much. I never even knew it was so much. So I'm bringing awareness to let you know how much. 320,000 children is 3 football stadiums of people walking around the United States lost here illegally. The government is letting them in. What can we do to fix this problem? Because it affects all of us. These kids are, because of all this, we're missing jobs. Because of all this, they are going to stay loyal, so to speak, to the cartel. They're going to take over the United States. The government don't care because they are making so much money. That 1 or 2 people on the top they turning their back because they family and everything for right now is living big time. We need to get some real people in office that's going to stop this situation. Look here, I'm going to get on up out of here. Let me know if you watched both of these and you made it to the end, which means you are an ender. So put in the comments that you are an ender. I made it to the end and I want to help. Say, we all should help. Ender, we all should help. Ender, put in the comments that you are ender and we all should help. That will let me know that you made it to the end of both of these videos. And yeah, we're going to donate and we're going to start something. We're going to start a live channel. The Music Recording Network Live. The channel is already up. The Music Recording Network Live. And we're going to play some of these videos and we're going to talk about it. And y'all can get in the chat. That's the only way I can see other people getting into the chat to start helping. That's what we're going to do. So y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.